that participants and guests are protected. This hall can accommodate around 500 persons. However, since we live under a new normal, we can only allow about 50 persons, or 10% of its total capacity, so we beg for your indulgence. 20 years ago, former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo signed into law Republic Act 9003 or the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000. This law provides the necessary policy, framework, and institutional mechanism to address the increasing volume of solid waste generated in the Philippines. The law also mandates the local government units to achieve 25% waste reduction through the establishment of an integrated solid waste management plans based on the implementation of 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. 20 years later, the country still wallows in garbage despite the passage of RA 9003. Why? Because garbage is always considered the last and the least of our priority. Waste generation persistently increased from a daily average of around 37,000 tons per day in 2012 to 40,000 tons in 2016. At the close of 2020, the country has generated some 21.5 million metric tons of garbage. In Metro Manila alone, around 3.5 million metric tons of waste were generated. Out of this volume, the government was able to collect only 85%, and the remaining 15% of uncollected garbage is either burned or dumped in open dump sites. 20 years ago, we vigorously campaigned for the reduction of waste through the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. However, we have not been so successful. The 3 R's 2 decades ago expanded to 5 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle, refuse, and scrap. Yet, the country still struggles in managing the waste. Garbage collection has been inefficient. This contributed to waste ending up in our water bodies, in our steros, rivers, and lakes that ultimately drain into our seas and oceans. As I said earlier, in the system of implementation of government programs, solid waste seems to take the last spot in the order of priorities. Sadly, this system was also the practice of the local government units. We see an entirely different scenario now under this administration. Tama na po ang pagwawalang bahala. Ang ganitong gawin at pag-uugali ay kailangan ng tapusin. Kaya naman po sa administrasyon ng Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte, ang DNR sa pangunguna ng aming kalihim, Roy A. Simato, na siya rin namumuno sa National Solid Waste Management Commission, ay kumilos upang tuldukan na ang ganitong sitwasyon at linisin na ang ating kapaligiran at mga katubigan. Nitong nakaraang 2 taon, ang DNR at ang komisyon ay naging masigasig at seryosong nagpatupad ng mga programa sa tamang pamamahala ng basura at mahigpit na ipinatupad ang batas. Dear friends, we are honored to present to you what we have accomplished in the last 2 years to be able to catch up with the demands of the Solid Waste Management Act. Modest as it may seem, we were able to see and feel some changes in the implementation of our solid waste management efforts. At this point, may I direct your attention to the video presentation on the highlights of concerted and collective efforts of the government and the civil society.
The estimated waste generation of the Philippines is around 21.5 million metric tons for 2020. Around 3.5 million metric tons are generated in Metro Manila. where each person is estimated to have contributed almost a kilogram of waste per day. Of this, only 85% of wastes were collected, and some 15% were either burned or have ended up in rivers and esteros and clogged the drainage system in Metro Manila. Despite government efforts, solid waste remains one of the country's major environmental problems. 2 decades after the enactment of Republic Act 9003, or the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000, the problem on garbage persisted. In 2018, under the leadership of Secretary Roy A. Simatu, the DENR committed to provide solutions to the country's garbage woes and started the intensified campaign towards proper disposal and management of garbage. With this commitment, solid waste management in the country started gaining ground. Local government units were obligated to complete their 10-year solid waste management plans to address the garbage problem. The government's National Solid Waste Management Commission Chair, Secretary Roy Simatu, designated Undersecretary Benny Antiporda as alternate chair of the commission. Since then, partnership with the LGUs has been revolutionized. Consultations and collaborative works were strengthened. Unrelentless technical assistance was provided in the preparation of LGU's solid waste management plans. These plans now contain appropriate strategies on residual, recyclable, biodegradable, and special wastes, including healthcare wastes. With 699 approved 10-year solid waste management plans accomplished from May 2018 to 2020, the National Solid Waste Commission has already approved 1,069 plans out of a total of 1,715 LGUs nationwide, including the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. This achievement represents unprecedented increase in the average output of the NSW Commission in just 1.5 years. Strongly determined to enforce the provisions of Republic Act 9003, the Commission, under the guidance of the Office of the DENR Undersecretary as acting chair, effected the closure of 165 illegal dump sites, including those in Walang, Bacolod, and San Fernando in Pampanga, Limay in Bataan, General Luna in Siargao Island, Calamba in Laguna, and more recently in Anzac, Cavite. To show how serious the Commission is in implementing its mandate, several cases have been filed with the Office of the Ombudsman against erring local executives. Meanwhile, the number of sanitary landfills rose from only 135 in 2017 to 165 in 2018. 187 in 2019, 241 by the end of 2020, and still counting. USEC Antiporda spearheaded the ban on the use of unnecessary single-use plastics in all government offices through Resolution Number 2020-1363. A succeeding NSWMC Resolution Number 2020-1364, adopting the interim guidelines on the management of COVID-19 related healthcare waste to address the increasing volume of healthcare wastes generated in health facilities. The Commission also issued NSWMC Resolution Number 1380, adopting the guidelines on the Waste Analysis and Characterization Study, WACS, and its related manual. This resolution prescribed the color coding of waste bins or bags according to its classification: green for biodegradables, blue for recyclables, red for household special wastes, and black for residual waste. The guidelines on WACS serve as the prescribed guide for all government-initiated conduct of WACS and the standard and basis of all 10-year SWM plans submitted to the Commission for approval effective January 2021. consistently advocating proper waste management led to conceptualization of the pioneering program Pera sa Basura ng Bata, not only to train the youth, but also to make them realize that there are incentives in the proper management of wastes. To secure support and cooperation, the first ever public consultation with sanitary landfill operators was conducted, resulting in firmed up, doable solutions on wastes. To provide assistance in waste recycling activities, 5 bio-waste shredders and composters were initially distributed to the LGUs of Pampanga and Bataan. Distribution of 173 bio-waste shredders and composters for LGUs within the Manila Bay region will follow. The persistent and no-nonsense implementation of the law on ecological solid waste is apparent in the changing landscape in terms of management of garbage in the country. With the continuing efforts on solid waste management, a cleaner and healthier environment is certainly not far from reality.
Thank you very much. Dear friends, what you just saw are just snippets of our combined efforts in the last 2 years. In the next 2 years, we commit to work even harder. Tayo ay nagbigay na ng sapat na panahon this year and in the coming years. We will vigorously pursue the closure of all open dump sites and increase sanitary landfills nationwide. We will strictly monitor and enforce the rule of law on the issue of segregation at source. Coordinate with waste haulers to efficiently collect garbage and intensify our campaign on proper waste management with our PINAS, the Basura Buster. We will also conduct house-to-house campaign to encourage households and communities to support and participate in government programs on proper waste management. We will accelerate, meaning we will excel and accelerate our efforts. As regard to the implementation of Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000, yes, we can do it and we must do it. Let us all manage our solid waste towards a cleaner, healthier, and progressive Philippines. Again, maraming salamat po.
USEC, then ANTIPORDA po.